this isn't my review for Gavan Infinity just yet, as I really want to watch the first couple episodes of Omegahorn to see if I am right on things or want to talk about the connection from one show to the other. But now, I have finally worked out what Project Red is doing, I think. Project Red has come at us with their first installment, going into the second one. The first one is multi-universal, and with the Gavans and metal heroes and some people not liking that. But this whole theory I have literally comes from the beginning of Project Red with Gavan. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about Gavan as a show first then, shall we? But again, this isn't my full review. This is just talking about elements of the show that will lead to what I'm talking about with the future of Gavan and Project Red and Omegahorn. Also, if you guys are excited for Omegahorn, let me know in the comments down below. What are you most excited for? I'm excited for so much. And like Reiji coming back. Ah! Oh, sorry, spoilers. Anyway, back to the video. So Gavan itself gave us a show where it's all about the multiverse, universes that can interact and meet when you have a Gavan. But in a way that's very limiting, isn't it? However, I think this show had to be Gavan Infinity the way that they did it for a reason, and that is because this show allowed for the invention of multi-dimensional travelers to set up why it happens later on, to set up the rest of Project Red, all stemming from this show. But that of course causes some issues. In a way, it's a man-made issue that there is only one Gavan in each universe and they can't really interact without real special high-tech connections with other people because Hatsune was able to use Reiji's blood to make a contraption to be able to travel and allow others to travel through universes. I know it's very complex. And I think that's what made Gavan such a, I wouldn't say controversial. Actually, no, at the moment it's a very controversial thing to like the show apparently, which is so depressing in so many levels. Just let me enjoy the show. That's all I'll say for now. But yeah, it's kind of funny that they've stated in their show, there's only one Gavan in each show. You can't travel between the universes if you are not someone who has the ability, but then they introduced us to 3 people who can travel around the universes. There was Gavan Infinity, who had the ability because he got some connections to the woohoo. Then we have Gavan Raya, who has the ability because of their ninja Jitsu thing. And then we have Death Gavan, and he is able to do it because of his connection to Azazolf, who is the bad guy, the main bad guy in this show. And through all their interactions, they were able to fix this issue. But it's like they've made a whole story based on the fact that nobody can do this traveling, but then they've made the show all about them trying to get the ability to do that. So it's, just trying to write this down was hard to explain. But all of this fuss was to make a show that can work for other seasons is what I'm trying to get at. But at the same time, I don't really mind that. It's a issue in a world where people can't interact with the other universes and there's a solution. It is typical storytelling, that is. There's the issue, there's the solution, and then there's the end. So in a way, it kind of is a perfect fit for a story. Though some of their writing may have had issues, this is also the same writer who has to write possibly for 2 seasons, Gavan and Omega, because yes, it's the same writer. So if you hate the writing of this show, be prepared to hate the next one, was all I'm saying. But also this, I don't know if people know this writer also wrote for, I think, some Pokemon, also wrote for Yu-Gi-Oh!, also wrote for Boom Boomja, and other shows. So just be a little careful who you're blaming all the blame on. It's not the season's characters, it's not the storyline, it is the writer, and the writer is pretty good, so just be careful who you're blaming and pointing the finger at. But the purpose of Gavan Infinity was in fact to give us some cool Gavans interacting and the reason for how Gavans can travel. That is the purpose of Gavan Infinity. Obviously, when they're starting a new show with, let's think of like the first couple shows in Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. With Ichigo, it was very limiting, wasn't it? It was a very small show. Well, not a small show, but they had one character interacting with another character, and it was so limiting. But because of the history of Gavan, we have so many characters that we can interact with, and for example, there are multiple seasons of characters that they can interact with. Same as Sentai. With Sentai, there was a little easier because with their first show, Go Ranger, they had 5 people to interact with, 5 heroes that can fight amongst the others. And I think that's what they were trying to do for the beginning of Project Red. Project Red is, of course, a new project, has never had anything yet. And here they are trying to make a universe show that can interact with other universes, that can get other stories. But just to have one show with one Gavan, it's not that interesting. Hopefully I'm explaining this well. I don't know if I am, but just let me know in the comments. Actually, don't let me know in the comments if I'm not making this make sense. But ultimately, the purpose of Gavan being the first season of Project Red is that to create a system and a world and a playbook that Project Red will now work upon, will grow from, to give us multiple dimensions, multiple universes that we can interact with our main character. And also give us a reason why Gavans can start to travel. Let's be honest, if people are already in the comments being like, oh, I hate Gavan because Gavan killed Sentai, or it's not as good as Sentai. 1, it's not meant to be Sentai. 2, it was never going to be Sentai, so people who are like, oh, it's not like my Sentai, are obviously gonna hate it. 3, it's the start of a whole new universe that they're trying to connect in multiple ways. It was going to be a hard transition from Sentai to Project Red, but I can respect what Gavan is trying to be and what it's trying to do for Project Red, and I think people don't understand that. Again, the show is not perfect, I get that, but it's so much bigger than a simple season of a show. It's the starting point. It's the big bang of Gavan Infinity, if that makes sense. It's not going to be perfect. They're starting new. They're starting to create something different. Of course you're not going to like it if you're not going to let it breathe. Goddamn. Gavan also gave us a simple rule that Project Red intends to break. That each universe must have one Gavan. Any more and it causes issues, and only those specific few have the ability to travel and interact and do so much more in this world. They even broke their rule in their own show, and I always thought that was a really weird thing, why they would set up this rule and then have 3 people already kind of doing that without trying. There's even Amigo that does it, but that's the point. They were giving us a show where they could break the rules so we can explode and do more with this kind of concept. By the end of Gavan, we had multiple universes that couldn't interact, and now, at the end of Gavan, we have Infinity, Luminous, Bushido, Raya, Amigo, Gavant, what's another one? Death Gavan, technically, the train guy, Pico? No, Pico doesn't technically go in the last bit. Gavant, Amigo, there's just so many. So we've got almost 10 Gavans that can travel the universes already. This isn't just a situational thing. They have an ability now that they can go amongst the universe, travel wherever they want to. And that's a good amount of people. That's a good Sentai team up, really. But going back to the title of this video, what is it that Project Red is doing with this now? What does that mean for the rest of the seasons a part of Project Red? And are there any issues with it? Hi everybody, this is just the halfway point to say thank you so much for watching this video so far. If you like this video, please give us a follow, a subscribe, maybe a like, and maybe a comment down below too. But thank you so much. Please let me know if you're enjoying this kind of content. I want to do a lot more reactional content, but also talking about things content, and hopefully you enjoy my rambles too. This is a script that is completely just notes and my rambles, so hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Matane! Well, the next season that comes into play, of course, is Omegahorn. And in the trailer, straight away, we have, and kind of in the rumors, we've only got one person who can transform, is the hero, can henshin. Hence why my review of the trailer a couple days ago says, is this even a henshin show anymore? Because I saw it and I saw these visuals of only one person henshining, and even now we are seeing rumors for the next Kamen Rider show, right? That we have 3 riders already rumored and shown, and we even have the others. There's a bunny, there's a dog, there's a turtle? I don't even know anymore. But even at this point, with the rumors, we have multiple people who can henshin already. But with Omegahorn, other than the monster beasts that go from human to their Omegahorn mega beast forms, only Shout the Flame, baller name by the way, only Shout can transform, which is weird. I got upset due to thinking that, oh, another person must henshin and it's not going to be a woman. Oh, that's a shame. And people, if you are in the comments being like, oh my god, she's already going to feminism. Oh my god, she's already going to hating men. That's not the point. Like, if that's what you think, you go about your life. But what I got upset about was the fact that there was no other henshining hero just yet, and anybody else seems to only have a weapon. And fair enough, I did assume it was a woman thing because, do you blame me? This is a issue that's happened through all of Toku. But obviously I'm not going to judge straight away until I actually see the show. But then I thought about it. I was like, is it that they can't henshin? Is Shout the only person that can henshin in the universe? Now, doesn't that sound really interesting? Almost as if this is just another world in a universe, in an established timeline, where there's only one hero in a universe that can transform. You heard it here first, folks, because I don't think it's confirmed anywhere else. Shout the Flame is in fact a Gavan, and I know that probably sounds so obvious, but they haven't actually said it in the promotional material. They haven't really confirmed anything of the sort, which I think is really, really strange and really, really interesting. But I think, yes, he is a Gavan. This universe's Gavan. But of course, this is still a henshin hero show, right, Kezza? Well, here's the thing. I don't think there's anyone else in this universe that is going to henshin necessarily from this universe. I think we're going to get, which is already kind of confirmed, other people from other dimensions to transform in this world so far. And that is the point where Gavan Infinity has been leaked and shown to be part of this show, coming back as Ironclad Reiji. Now, we don't know if this is going to be him, or if this is a brainwashed version of Reiji, or if this is Reiji mixed with Death Gavan, or if this is just him pretending to be evil so he can get closer to some villains, because that's somehow connected to Azazolf or something? I don't know, but he's there, he's in the trailer, and he was there in the promotional material. We even see Luminous and Bushido, both Gavans from Gavan Infinity, appear in the trailer. So what is that connection? I think this is, again, to fulfill the henshin hero promise, to allow multiple heroes in one show, to allow us all to feel the henshining hero aspect with multiple heroes. And they are going to be there until others have the ability to transform too. That is why Gavan Infinity was so important. It's a rule book to the powers that allow everybody to transform because they are from multiple different worlds. They are from different universes. Hence why Shout is the only one in this world that can transform. That is what Project Red is. It's a universal playbook where only one Gavan can henshin. I probably sound like an absolute broken record at this point. But it's so important for people to understand that this is the future of Project Red. If you hated Gavan because of the multiple universes, they're probably slowing down, but they had to hit the ground running. Just because you didn't like it, this is still the establishing theories, the establishing world building for the rest of Project Red. Do you get what I mean? That's why Gavan is so important. That's why Gavan Infinity is so integral to the rest of Project Red. I do actually want to bring back up Gavan Infinity back again into this conversation because I really like that at the end of the season for Gavan Infinity, it seems like he is the bridge between good and bad, having the good god's will, but also being a little bit influenced by the rage of the bad god in some way, as a Zolf. And even here, he's kind of like twisted and a bad guy in this show, in Omegahorn it seems. So in a way, he is the bridge between good and bad, and he's also the bridge between Gavan Infinity going into Omegahorn. I see what you're doing, Project Red. But that is my thoughts. Quick overview so you guys get it. So in fact, this does actually sound very silly now, but Shout the Flame is actually Shout, this universe is Gavan, and they call it different in this world. Hunter, maybe? I don't know. I thought it was so strange that they didn't call him a Gavan, though he looks very Gavan now that I'm looking at him. But also, they had no one else henshin or have a form, which I thought was very odd. It is because Project Red is continuing its mission and it's trying to break the first rule of Gavan's, that only one can exist in its singularity. Gavan Infinity was actually the setup for the rest of Project Red, and I actually respect the writers and directors for taking such a crazy approach, but also super appreciate it. I love Gavan even more now if this is what is actually happening. That in fact leads to the future of Project Red and its Gavans. If that is something you like, great. If that is something you don't like, you're gonna have to get used to it, buddy. Because Gavans are the new Super Sentai Rangers / Kamen Rider Riders. Gavans are forever the main hero setup. And until we have a whole set and cast of Gavans that can actively henshin and travel between the worlds, we will now be slowly meeting new ones and interacting with past Gavans till we have a whole MCU of Gavans. A Gavan cinematic universe, as Joel and my group has said multiple times. It makes sense. And that also means, what do we have to look forward to now? Well, after that finale, an anime world for one, which people said in the finale could be one of the animated projects they mentioned at the Kamen Rider press conference. Maybe, I don't know about this, but it would be really cool. But also, people in my comments got me excited about a few other ideas. Nathan Martin, hiya there Nathan Martin, hello! I am reading comments, but they said, who is up for a magical girl installment for Project Red, or even a detective tokusatsu show? Omegahorn is so unique that I believe these ideas can happen. And yes, I agree to this. Anything can happen now. We got a Pokemon Monster Hunter Wild King Oja show. And what could be next? Detectives? Magical girls? Robotech? Police drama? Anime? BL even! I can't wait. I can't wait for the future of Project Red, and it's all because of our boy Reiji and Gavan, no matter what other people say. I thoroughly enjoyed Gavan. I know it's not the perfect show, but it's the perfect setup for Project Red. Thank you so much, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye now. Bye! What do people think of Omegahorn? Oh my god, I can't wait. I hope people are a lot more positive about it. Just be more positive. It is what it is, isn't it?